Hello everyone, welcome to July session of Beyond the Cube. We have Vivek Kaushik here to talk about yoga technique and life management. So I hope you enjoy and take a lot of tips with you on this Friday.
Thank you. So a very good morning to all of you. And so we are meeting today for discussing yoga techniques for life management. Yoga is a very popular word. Everyone must be aware that they may not be knowing the complete meaning of yoga, but I think yoga is, today everyone knows that there is something called yoga. So before I start, I will be basically chanting some invocation mantras. They are in Sanskrit. And you don't have to worry if you don't understand them, because mantra has been stated is made of two words, man and tra. Man means mind and tra means trayate, which frees the mind. So that is what the meaning of mantra is, and they have been considered to be like fire. So if a child puts his hand in the fire and doesn't know that the fire is going to burn, still it burns. So you don't have to worry if you don't understand the meaning. But just give these mantras a patient hearing, and then we start, because this invocation actually means that we invocate goodness all around us when we sit down here, so that positive energy is generated, and sound vibration is a very, very powerful tool to do this. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah Chi Chaitanyamanoਭીષ્ટಂ સ્થાપિતમ येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदामयं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुक्तपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितंश्च हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगतपते गोपेशा गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्तुते तप्त कंचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छा कल्पतरुर्भयश्च कृपा सिन्धुभय एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंदा। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामिन्निति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात देश तारिणे। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। Thank you for giving me a patient hearing for these mantras. So as you just go through the topic once, yoga techniques for life management. Before we start, I just want to place before you a quote by two people. There are many of them who have basically talked about this knowledge. I think so you can read this. Eminent American physicist and the first to be involved in the theoretical development of the atomic bomb and the first to coin the black hole, who later occupies the chair that was held by Albert Einstein. What does he say? John Archibald Wheeler. One has the feeling that the thinkers of the East knew it all, and if we could only translate their answers into our language, we would have the answers to all our questions. If you want to read it, you can once go through this. The second is the Danish nuclear physicist who had developed the Bohr model of the atom. He received the Nobel Prize in Physics in 1922 for his theory in atomic structure. Niels Bohr. And he says, I go into the Upanishads to ask questions. He was actually a person who had gone through the Eastern philosophy and basically the philosophy of the Upanishads in a very deep manner. So he says, I go into the Upanishads to ask questions. Now you'll say, what is Wheeler talking about the East, the thinkers of the East, and what is Bohr talking about Upanishad? That's actually what is the topic of today. That is the yoga techniques. Now we come, let's see, we start from the last word, management. In very simple terms. Management is, in simple terms, means add resources for purpose of attaining success. Right? That's the simplest definition of management, that you basically add resources of different kinds. It may be financial, it may be on the, take an example, land, property, money, intelligence, knowledge. All these things, we basically add these resources for the purpose of attaining success. That's a simple definition of management. So now we come to the next part, is life management means to add resources to attain success in life, right? So we want to manage our life. And why do we want to manage our life? All of us, what do we want in life? I think none of us want to be unsuccessful in life. All of us want to be successful in life. There's none of us who is actually aspiring to be unsuccessful. So life management in simple terms again means to add resources. Again, I'm using the word add. I'll tell you why. Because the word yoga actually comes from a seed word. In Sanskrit language, for every word there is a seed word. It means that from the seed word, many words having the same meaning evolve. That's why it's called seed. When you put a seed, what happens? You get many fruits. You get a tree and you got many fruits and many. But the fruit and the seed, you put in a mango tree seed, you get mangoes. So in the same way, the seed word is yuj. Yuj. This is very important, first of all, to understand this. And yuj means to add, to link, to join, to connect. So actually the word yoga means to add, in very simple terms. To add or to link or to connect or to join. All of having basically the same type of meaning. So this word yoga, which we have been hearing so much, means actually to add. So we go ahead. Now anyone who practices yoga is known as a yogi. Anyone who practices yoga is known as a yogi. All of us are yogis. Without yoga or addition, we cannot get success. Now you'll say, I didn't practice yoga at any point of time in my life. How can you call us yogis? No, without yoga, without adding, actually you can't get rid of any problem. Simple example, hunger. How do you get rid of hunger? By adding. What do you add? Food. Your hunger gone. You can't leave hunger. Can you leave hunger? You can't. You have some disease. What do you add? No, before that, don't add the medicine directly. Go to the doctor first. Go to the doctor and take his prescription. You add his prescription, his advice actually. You add his advice and then you take the medicine. Don't try to jump the gun, otherwise it will be a big problem. So, that means all of us are adding. You're doing a job. You want to basically do well in it. What do? You increase your capabilities, right? It may be in form of knowledge. It may be in form of adding hours. It may be in a form of adding concentration. It may be in a form of adding knowledge which will reduce tension, due to which productivity would rise, right? So you add. Without adding, actually you can't live. It's not possible. So all of us are yogis. So you'll feel good, oh my God. But still, yoga means that you should have no mental tension. You should be absolutely successful in life. But now the problem is this, that many a times we do not know what to add and what not to add. And sometimes it happens, and most of the time it happens actually, that you add those things, we actually create more tensions. It's simple, there's fire, and the child sees that my mother used to put water under the fire to douse the fire. So you think there is a gasoline can lying there? Water is liquid, gasoline is liquid. Let me pour the gasoline over it. So what will happen? The fire will not go down. It will burst more. So now you'll have to work more on what to add. What to add in life to be really successful. Now what does success mean? Now this is the question I'm putting up to you. Let's have an interactive reaction session in which I think so both of us will gain more. So what do you mean by success? Please, you can start. Yes?
Getting what you want. Getting what you want.
Yes, getting what you want. Okay, anyone wants to add on that? Being whom you want to be. Very right. How happy you are. Okay. Anyone else? It's very important for me because what happens, I should be in the same wavelength in which you are. Because I may be speaking lower than what you may be on a higher wavelength and I may be speaking on a lower wavelength, then you'll say, come on, this is boring, right? And if it's too high, then also you'll say, oh, it's boring, because in both cases you'll not be able to understand. So you'll have problems. So that's why I'm asking these questions. If all of you agree to these answers which have been given, this is actually to be what you want to be, to get what you want. And she says to be happy. Let's bring them down to simple one thing. Success means to attain the goal. Whatever your goal is, right? She went a step further. We'll talk about it. No problems. So success means attaining the goal. Is it right? Whatever goal you have, if you attain it, you feel you are successful. Attain goal. That's what she said, that to attain what you want, to be what you have to be. That's a goal. Is it not a goal? It's a goal. So that means in a broad term we're talking about to attain the goal. Now what is your goal? Is the goal of everyone sitting here same or different? Is it different in different ages, or it is the same for everyone at any point of time? What do you agree? Is it same or is it different for everyone? The goal. It is? Okay. Let's talk on that. Anyone who says the goal is same, please raise his hand. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay. 4, 5. So, okay, one of you who thinks the goal is different. Yes, please. Could you tell me what do you mean by goal being different?
Maybe the goal for activities could be different for an adult. For a different person also it could be different.
The goal may be different.
Yeah, maybe for a kid is play during the day, for an adult and what being healthy.
Okay. Anyone else wants to add on this? Yes, please.
One person might want money and power, another person might just want to be a good parent.
Okay. Anyone else wants to add? That's basically that what he says that maybe a person who's sick wants to be healthy. That's his goal. He says that a person may be wanting money and power, and the other person wants to be a good parent. So that means the goal is different. Now you see this. When you've seen football, soccer, I don't know what they call it here. Call it soccer or football? Soccer, right? So now I'm going to ask you that in soccer, when you score a goal, after scoring one goal, does the goal change or remains the same? Goal changes? The posts change? But again, it's the two posts, right? You don't score a goal anywhere else. After time it may change. But actually in life, whatever they talked about, the goal is one. How? Why do you want to be healthy? Because by being healthy you will be happy, right? Why do you want to have money and power? If you don't get happiness after money and power, that means your money and power is all useless. I've heard people talking about it all over the world. They said, I've got so much money and power, I don't have happiness. I'm ready to give all my money and power to get just a moment of peace of mind. I don't have that. You want to be a good parent, why? By being a good parent, you will be happy. So please, this is the problem all over the world, that people think the means to be the goal, and the moment you think the means to be the goal, that means you do not know your goal of life. That means everyone's goal of life is, why do you want your desires to be fulfilled? What will happen? You will feel satisfied. Is it not so? And then you will feel peaceful. And when you feel peaceful, what will happen? You will feel happy. So all of us, everyone, a dog also, when it feels the heat, it tries to go into the shade. Why? Because it feels happy there. So, goal of every living entity is the same. They want happiness. Now, please don't consider your means to be the goal. Ants also. You grow a plant in the shade, it will start going towards sunlight, because photosynthesis, that's the way it's going to survive. And Dr. J.C. Bose basically proved it, that music also enhances the growth of the plant. Music, yes, it helps. Yeah, but that's a different subject altogether, so I'll not go into it, because that's different levels of consciousness. The books of yoga talk of different levels of consciousness within human beings as well within the species of life. They don't term species of life as just as we see it physically. They take species of life as levels of consciousness. They're on different levels of consciousness. Tree is also on a level of consciousness, but it's considered to be the lowest level of consciousness because it cannot change. To know, consciousness actually means what? You are conscious of the fact. Please understand this particular word. When I pinch you, you're conscious of the pinch, right? So consciousness actually means to know. Yes, I'm conscious. So the tree's consciousness is on the lowest level. Next, animals, then human beings. The human beings are on the highest level of consciousness. But that's not actually the topic of today, so I'll not dwell into it, otherwise we'll move off track. So what is the goal of life? The goal is all around, one throughout the life. When you were a child also, you wanted to play. Why did you want to play? Because by playing you feel happy, right? When you were a student, you wanted good marks. Why did you want good marks? Because you would be happy with that. Or you would say, by my getting good grades would make my parents feel happy. And by that I would feel happy because I wanted my parents to feel happy, right? So that can be also a way of looking at it. But the goal is one, from your very childhood till your death. The goal is one. There are no two goals. The goal is one. Are you clear about it? You got any doubt about it? So today at least we have started knowing that what is the goal of life. We were thinking the goal of life to become a CEO or this or that. No, sorry. Your goal of life is to be happy. Now see, now you're in control of yourself. Otherwise you were basically dependent on being successful on others. Right or wrong? To be a good parent actually would only help if the children are also good. Like for example, a person who has done his PhD in management also goes to a place where he finds people who are actually illiterate, do not know management at all. How would we be able to manage them? Is it easy, Prabhu? Is it easy for us? For anyone? Because he needs the same qualified type of people under him. Because then only he can make his ideas move, right or wrong. The leader needs a good team. That's why actually the leader only becomes a leader when he has a team. So the leader should never have ego that I am a leader. No, sorry, if you don't have a team, you are never a leader. And actually the best leader have the best teams. If you have a good team, you are a good leader. Otherwise, that's why I built up your team. That's a very simple theory. Build up your team, because then only you'll be called a good leader. Otherwise, you're no one. That's mostly people start thinking. That is why in the yoga system of knowledge, it is stated you should be a servant leader. What should you be? A servant leader. Servant leader means first you're a servant and then you're a leader. Not a leader. That actually creates egos. When you're a servant leader, that means you're helping your team to get the best of productivity, by which what happens? They gain, you gain. If they don't gain, you don't gain. A very simple system. So how do we be? So now we be very clear that was the goal of life is to be happy. Goal is happy. Be clear. That means a person who's happy is successful. Right or wrong? Because we went, now let's go down. Backward integration. We said success means who attains his goal. Now goal is happiness. That means the person who's happy is successful. A is equals to B is equals to C, C is equals to A. Very simple. So now, attain goal is equals to success is equals to happiness. So now, you are not depending on others to be happy. Try to understand this. First you were thinking, when I do this, then I'll be happy. When I get this, then I'll be happy. When I reach this point, I'll be happy. So I mostly tell people, don't put up milestones of happiness in your life. We'll teach you the trick by which you can be happy every moment. And how to do that? I'm coming up to that. Please, before that, remember everything. Everyone wants application. Everyone. But just tell me what to do. No, understand the theory first. How can you apply without knowing the theory? Is it possible? Everyone wants to jump. No, I want application. No, Baba, first understand the theory, then the application will have a meaning. Is it right or wrong? You are applying your knowledge today. What is technology? Is applied science? Science is theory. When it is applied, it is known as technology. Actually, technology is good for us. But science as such in the books, it's got nothing to do. If you can't use, you may know the sand contains silicon. Silicon, okay, it has silicon. How does it bother me? What was that the other day we visited with Vijay, that factory? Applied materials. I was there. There was a person, he heard the lecture and he was impressed and he said, why don't you come and visit us? Place, I'll show you how all people of the world basically are making chips are making from our machines. So he took us there and he showed us around. And he was giving all this thing. I said, all these things actually, the basics what we are talking about is theory. Now you're applying it. And that is basically technology. So in the same way, any knowledge has got two aspects. So I'm coming to that. So the first step to success is what? The desire to succeed. That means the desire to be happy. Right? Now when I say success or happiness, interchange those words. They are synonyms. You can't be called a successful man if you're not happy. Right? And if you're happy, you're a successful man. You're a successful person. I'll be taking questions in the end. But if you have a really drastic problem in understanding something, raise your hands. No problems. We'll try to solve it. Because in the yogic system, this actually what we are doing is called satsang. It's actually called satsang. You may give it a name of seminar, this, that, people, satsang is old-fashioned. It happens with me. Many times when I go to preach, I do a lot of teaching in IITs and IIMs in India. Sometimes students come up, these are old things. I go, okay, old things are not good? No, not at all. Your father used to breathe from his mouth? Yes. Your grandfather used to breathe from his mouth? Yes. Your great-grandfather used to breathe through his mouth? Yes. Come on, stop it. Start something new. Come on, we'll die. Yes. All old things are not bad. Don't leave them. There are certain old things which you should keep. And there are certain things which are not old, which are actually eternal. Eternal means there is no effect of time factor on them. Difficult concept to understand. Very difficult factor. Initially it is very difficult to understand that there is something which is not affected by time. Because here everything is affected by two things, time and space. That's what our yogic scriptures say. Again, now coming back to the point, the desire for success should be there, right? The first step to success is what? Desire for success. Why would you come here? You wanted to add something, right or wrong? And the people who didn't want to add anything, they didn't come. I'm sorry. See, try to understand. I'm not quoting about them or anyone else, but I'm saying mad people also feel themselves to be happy, but actually they're not. Yeah, they're the most happy people because they got no desire, nothing. Oh, but that's not the. That's why I don't consider this statement. I actually consider the most bogus statement ever made in the history of mankind is ignorance is bliss. Ignorance is never bliss. If ignorance was bliss, then you would never send your children for education. You yourself would never take any knowledge. Because ignorance is bliss. Close down the schools and colleges. Sorry. Ignorance is not bliss. No. You should be knowledgeable. Actually being knowledgeable, it should convert into wisdom. Knowledge in itself is not good. Please. Knowledge should convert into wisdom. In Sanskrit, the word is Gyan and Vivek. Knowledge should convert into wisdom. So that's what we're going to try to do with you here, trying to help you because you're all knowledgeable. But let us understand what type of knowledge you have and what knowledge you need. Now, what will make me successful or happy? That should be your basically desire. Now, what is the cause of success or happiness? Let's take the word happiness. It's more direct because success still it comes in mind. The moment you talk of success, oh, I've not reached the position I wanted to. I'm not earning that much as I wanted to. So let's come to the word happiness, which you'll be able to relate with. Okay, what is the cause of happiness? Who can give me an answer? Actually, it is a one word answer. What gives happiness? Fill in the blanks, one blank only. No sentences. Content, peace, satisfaction, okay. Achievement, okay. Desire, okay. Goal, okay. You're not giving me that one word, whatever you're talking about. Knowledge. Absolutely right. If you're not knowledgeable, you maybe have a wrong desire. How to achieve? I want water going into a desert and looking out for water or snow. Oh, Baba, you're not going to find snow in the desert. So you should know. How would you achieve? Goal. What should be the goal? Till now we were all talking about means. Only 4 people raised their hands and said that there is only one goal in life. But I do not know what they were thinking about. But I hope they're thinking about happiness. So, knowledge gives success. Knowledge gives happiness. Why? Because you know what is right and what is wrong. Right or wrong. Am I right? Yeah. That means ignorance will give you suffering, unhappiness. You'll be unsuccessful. Why? Taking the wrong decision. Why? Because you did not know. Could not achieve a particular thing because you were trying to achieve something which was not actually not there during that particular point of time. There have been scientists who were far ahead than their time. Their inventions had no meaning at that time. But today they have a meaning. They are trying things. So there are a lot of things which are there, but this is all connected with knowledge. Ignorance, simple, in your day-to-day life. You eat from a wrong place, where the food is contaminated. What will happen to you? You'll fall sick. Because you were ignorant of the fact that the food was contaminated, you ate it. You made friends with some person, and that person was not right. What happened? Suffering. unhappiness. You are unsuccessful in that particular relationship. So now be very clear. Knowledge gives happiness. That means knowledge gives success. Ignorance gives suffering, unhappiness. And now this is why I'm talking about all this. Because the basic fact is this is the foundation of yoga. But what you have to add in your life? That means you'll have to add knowledge in your life. Now in understanding, yoga word comes from the yuj word. I'm again repeating it. Yoga means to add. Now we come ahead. Knowledge gives you happiness. Add knowledge. That's what we have been doing. Right? Now, and ignorance results in suffering. Now happiness can be positive or negative. So my God, happiness can be negative also. Yes. The books of yoga actually talk to us and tell us that whatever you are, that happiness which you are getting is actually negative happiness. What does that mean? What does it mean? Now let us try to understand this. By the fulfillment of desire gives you happiness, right? That means fulfillment of that particular goal gives you happiness. Okay? One point. Number two. Number 2 point is this, that when your desire is fulfilled, at that particular point of time in life, do you not have other desires? Do you have or not? You have a queue of desires. Only one has been fulfilled. So that means actually 99. Now if we take down in numbers, let's bring it down to numbers, because everything today is in numbers. This in this age, it is called the digital age by our shastras. Everything is brought down to digit, right? Everything digitized. Everything. So let's digitize happiness and suffering to understand it. 100 desires not fulfilled. Okay? So that means 100 suffering. How much points of suffering? 100. Now 1 point of suffering has been removed. And you feel what? Happy. Huh? But then 99 points of suffering and unsuccessfulness in your life. That means reduction of unhappiness you consider to be happiness. Right? So it is actually a type of negative happiness. It's not positive happiness, where you are actually got nothing. You're not suffering at all. You're not unhappy. You're not unsuccessful in anything. That positive happiness, none of us have tasted. Because that particular part of knowledge is missing. What knowledge you're getting, I'll come to that now. Now reduction of suffering is negative happiness. That's what happens with us. That's what the example I gave you. Positive happiness has got no connection with suffering. Nothing. Unsuccessful, being unsuccessful, unhappy, it's got nothing. You'll say, my God, there's something like this also. Yes, if you are in ignorance, what can I do? It is your problem. You didn't inquire. You did not inquire. That is the Vedanta Sutra. One of the major books of yoga says, Atato Brahma Jigyasa. It says to inquire. Inquire into what? Into inquire for that pure happiness. Where I can be in happiness every second of my life. By the end of this session, I'd like to give you that formula. And actually for you, for your knowledge, that is the basics. Is it basics? Yes, by taking that knowledge, first thing what happens to you is, you become fearless. Come to that. Come. Now happiness or suffering is experienced on 5 levels. I don't have much time to explain about every level, but I'll tell you. First, it starts from body and senses. Second is mind. Third is intelligence. Fourth is ego. And fifth is called the consciousness of the soul. Now first is body and senses. What is this? You feel the urge to eat something, taste, right? It is on the level of senses, tongue. That happiness is on the lowest level. It is considered on the lowest level. So if you get hurt, for example, is that bigger, or if your intention, which is actually connected with the mind, which is bigger? Actually, the mental tension. Because today, medical science agrees that 90% of the diseases which people have are psychosomatic. That means they've risen due to mind. And they convert into physical. So physical happiness is also limited and its suffering is great. mind, happiness is greater and the suffering is also great. You come onto the intellectual level. When you come onto the intellectual level, actually you become more happy than you are on the mental level. Have you seen those professors? Satisfied, nothing to wear anything. Like George Bernard Shaw. One of his friends came to him once, they were going out for dinner. He was wearing a green pant, yellow shirt, red coat and a blue tie. And this friend of his said, "Hey, you're going to come like this to the party?" And so what? People are going to recognize you. Hey, I don't want to go to this party. You know why? When people recognize me by my dress, that I'm Bernard Shaw. Sorry, that means this is a party of fools. People should recognize me by my intelligence, right or wrong. It was not. It was not. Because it was Halloween, and then that means his friend would also be dressed in the same way. But he was not. He said, "Hey, come on, we're going to a party." This is not the way you dress to a party. So he said, "I don't want to be recognized by people who don't recognize my intelligence." And the greatest hurt is of the ego, right? Where do you suffer the most? When your ego is hurt. That's the place you get hurt most. And at that level, you get a lot of happiness. When your ego is boosted, what happens? So you feel so good. You feel great. And when it is punctured, gone. And the next level is the soul level, the consciousness level. What is that level? I'll just come to that. Now the same simple question to you. In the last 200 years, has knowledge increased or decreased? Increased? Let's be practical. It has increased or not? It has increased, right? But I say it has increased and decreased simultaneously. Yeah, come on. How can you say cool fire? Cool fire is no word, because it is fire or it is cool. How can fire be cool? Fire is going to be hot. So how are you making this statement? Increased and decreased simultaneously. I'll talk about it. Increased in the sense of what? It has given you facilities, right? It has given you facilities, made you more dependent or independent. Okay? Independence means you have more everything for yourself, right? So if I ask you, can you give me some time? What do you say? I have no time. Why was technology there? To give you more time in the first place. Now you don't have time. It has made you more dependent actually. Today, if you don't have those things with the facilities which were not there 100 years back, and you have the same condition today, what will happen to you? You'll be in a worse condition than the people who were 100 years back, right or wrong? So are you dependent or independent? You are more dependent. You have to come out of it. Yes, you can use all these things, but not be dependent on it. Try to understand this. That's what a smart person is. Who uses everything, but is not dependent on them. It may be there or not be there. That will make you proactive. Management people every time talk, proactive. I said that you can never become proactive. It's not possible. This is how, then why this word is there? When the people who coined it know that there is something called proactive, but how you become proactive, they do not know. Because they themselves get affected by circumstances. You know? What was his name? The person who wrote down how to win friends. Dale Khan. What did he do? How did he die? Who will tell me? He committed suicide. For your knowledge. Go on to the internet, check up. He committed suicide. Sorry, we don't talk of external change. We talk of internal change. Externally, you can write a lot of books. You can talk a lot. But have you changed internally? Sorry. If you don't change internally, what is the use? The person who basically changed the life of millions, he himself, what did he do? He committed suicide. That means the person who commits suicide who actually, suicide is a very simple step, I'll tell you. Stress, you can't control stress, it turns into tension, tension turns into depression, depression turns into suicide. Simple. You don't have to go to a psychiatrist to understand this. No. Next. So, it has increased. What has increased? Facilities have increased. But how knowledge has decreased? Because knowledge should give happiness. That's what we are talking about. Happiness means success. Because if you are successful, that means you are happy. You attain your goal. Why do you want to attain your goal? Because you want to be happy. I'm repeating that because it's very important to understand. Because the goal is to be happiness. When you do something, you feel happy. When you complete something, you feel happy. Right? So, now what has happened? You got facilities, but how has knowledge decreased? Knowledge has decreased in the sense that has happiness increased or decreased? Now you'll understand, actually it is all over the world. In India also, you go to a poor man, a poor person, and you tell him, in India we have those rickshaw pullers, basically pulling rickshaw, and you tell him, you are unhappy? Oh, no, I'm in tension. You talk to a 4-year-old kid also, what will he say? You're unhappy? No, I'm in tension. So the unhappiness, actually today the word is tension. Is it not so? You talk to anyone, everyone, oh my God, it was a tense day, so much tension. Has it increased or decreased? Actually, by facilities you have increased your physical comforts, but your mental state has gone down. Is it a fact or not? 30 years back, was it easy to be to get satisfied, or is it now? It was easier 30 years back. The ones who are a little older will understand, but actually you should become smart enough. I tell kids in India also, sometimes it happens. I was talking to someone, he was the son of a very big industrialist. So he was very annoyed with his father because the father would not give up the position. He wanted to become the CEO and chairman of the company. He wanted to basically run the company as he wanted. He says, I've got new ideas, but his father would not give up. So I told him, till your father is there, why don't you basically do something and become smarter than him? He says, what should I do? He said, what's your age? I asked him. He said, my age is 35. And what's your father's age? He says, my father's age is 60. And how much experience does your father have? He has got 40 years of experience in business. And how much experience do you have? I have got about 10 years of experience in business. When you become smart, take the experience of your father, add it to your own experience, you become 50 years. That means you become smarter than your father. So when you meet people who are little elder in age, take their experience, connect it to yourself, and you're much smarter than them. Because you got your own experience and you got the experience of others. So ask them, 20 years back, I asked you 10 years back also. Was it easier to become satisfied or is it today? That means there is something grossly wrong. We call ourselves, today you think the world is more peaceful? Are people at peace? They talk of peace all over the world. I said, no, sorry. First the unit should be peaceful. Then automatically the whole will become micro and macro. Simple. If you're not peaceful on the micro level, how can you be peaceful at the macro level? If the people who are in the country are not peaceful, how that country can be peaceful with other countries? How is it possible? It is not possible. So how to bring that peace about? The peace has reduced. You people will be more better equipped because when you read more, you get more information, you know that on what stage this world is today. I comment to you, just give me my card. Prabhuji. This is a statement by Dr. Arnold Toynbee. He died of about maybe 10-12 years back. He was one of the top British historians. He had written 12 volumes on history, and he writes, it is already becoming clear that a chapter which had a Western beginning will have to have an Indian ending. If it is not to end in the self-destruction of the human race, at this supremely dangerous moment in the history, the only way of salvation from mankind is the Indian way. What is the Indian way? It is the yoga, nothing else. Yoga techniques, nothing else. What is the Indian way? There is no other way. It's not you become like that, no. And you don't have to give up anything. Yoga means to add. Please understand one thing. People mostly talk of giving up. No giving up. Adding. You feel hungry, you can't give up hunger. You'll have to add food. The hunger finishes. Simple thing. Now we go ahead. Knowledge has increased to give negative happiness, though facilities brought about by technologies. I explained to you about positive and negative happiness. That has increased. Your physical level comforts have increased by these facilities which technology has provided to you. But what is happening simultaneously is this, that your mental state is becoming poorer. Today, which is the medicine which is the highest sold medicine in the United States? Depression, right? Who's the maximum in medical profession? Which doctor earns the maximum? Psychiatrist. Is this sign of a healthy society? I'm sorry. This is all over the world, not only in states. It is all over the world. In India also, now they start saying that this school is there. This school has got a psychiatrist in it. Oh my God, what type of knowledge do they give? This person goes into a mental asylum? He gets a problem, he goes into depression? No, that's not good. You should not provide such type of knowledge. Then what should we provide? What you are doing is, let us come down to that. Now, it's created so many of. Now it's becoming very clear that this knowledge has not been able to deliver happiness. It has been able to deliver comfort. There's a difference between comfort and difference between happiness. I sometimes give this example, very simple, that you basically feeling very hot, you're in the sun. You come back into your office, you got a company. You come back into your office and you feel so good. But at the same time, you got an IRS raid going on in your company. You feel good. Oh yeah, air conditioned feel better than being outside in the sun. But sorry, on the mental level, what is your problem? You got a raid going on. You got the IRS people inside checking up your books. You think you may not have done something wrong. Your junior did not file the returns properly. There's something wrong somewhere. They come to check up. So what are you going to do? So you are trying to understand? These facilities have been provided. These are for the physical comforts. But what for the mind? What for the mind actually? And mental problems are more serious. Why there are so much of breakups in every type of thing? The reason is basically the mentality. Now how do you do that? How do you change it? That means this knowledge. There are only two alternatives regarding present day knowledge. And what are the two alternatives? This knowledge is not knowledge. If it can't give you happiness, how can it be called knowledge? Or the second alternative is this. There is something very important missing in this knowledge. Only two alternatives. But to say that this is not knowledge is not right. It is knowledge. It is knowledge. The books of yoga say this is knowledge. But there is some other knowledge also which is missing. Now let us try to find out and add that very important knowledge. I told you yoga means to add. So let's try to add that knowledge in this knowledge, by which this knowledge starts giving what it should give. Not only creature comforts, physical comforts, but comforts also on the mental level. Now what is that knowledge? Let's come down. Recap again. Knowledge gives happiness and ignorance gives suffering. 4 answers to know, missing link to happiness or success. Please read this. A person who gives most of his or her time for less important things in life, is he, she in knowledge or ignorance? What would you call that person? In ignorance, right? Let's go to the next question. Which is more important, living body or dead body? No. Again wrong. For a mortuary person, a dead body. Not for a doctor. Doctor uses the dead body for getting the live body living. See? First we were talking about doctors, now we come to potential doctors. Yes, that's why, what did I say? Which is more important? I didn't say only important. What did I put? I knew because this question would come up, because I would raise the same question which he raised. But which is more important, living body or dead body? Simple, living body, because dead body is also used for understanding the living body. Simple. Next question. What is common in both? Body, yes. See, there are simple questions. Sometimes simple things have big answers. Sometimes it takes simple things to be no. It happened with a lot of scientists also. They used to say, oh, this simple thing actually clears so much of our problems. Oh my God, I was not thinking on this. So please don't leave simple aside. Actually, when life is simple, it is more attractive. The more complicated it is, the more difficult. So body, right? Third, what makes living body more important? Very simple answer. I want a very simple answer. What makes the living body more important than a dead body? What does it have an extra thing in it? Life. Very right. We can call it life or consciousness, right? You're conscious, you got life. Now I ask you a simple question. How much time are you giving to understand life, and how much time are you giving to understand and for the body? For the body, how much time are you giving? 99.9999%. Right? Have you tried to understand what life is? How much time are you given to understand life? You don't have time. Don't have time. And that's our biggest mistake. Because life gives importance to body. In yoga, book of yogas, in the yoga books, it is very clearly stated that life is to be understood. If life is not understood, your understanding of the body will not take you anywhere. So it's saying how much time are you devoting to understanding life or consciousness. This is the missing link or knowledge which we have to add. And this is called the missing link. This is actually the knowledge which is missing. The knowledge of life. That what life is. You just take it for granted actually. Do we not do that? Living? Okay. No. It's not a combination of matter only. There's something extra to it. All experiments are not carried out by dead people. They are carried out by living people. If any dead person comes out with something living, then I'll say that now I believe matter. Life comes from matter. We are seeing everywhere life coming from life. We don't see anywhere life coming from matter. Life is creating life. Matter is not creating life. All these experiments they are doing. Who are doing these experiments? Living men or dead men? Dead men or women? Which one? Living. All are living. Nowhere you see matter creating life. It is life which is creating matter. You're getting acid, you're forming acids in your stomach, are you not? The moment life is away, is not in the body, it stops. That means the factory closed. This is a chemical factory. It is closed. No, it can't work anymore. No more blood will be formed. Your hair will not grow. It will stay. You don't need go to the saloon after that. It doesn't grow. Finished. So what was producing matter? Life. Life was producing matter. And that's what a very important principle of the yoga techniques is this. Then we come down to the next thing, that now what is this yoga? This yoga actually is, this knowledge is known as yoga. This is also known as spiritual knowledge. Spiritual knowledge and yoga knowledge are non-different. Yoga today is thought to be just some physical exercise or breathing exercises. That's what people think, that yoga is just like that. No, sorry, yoga has got a very big theory behind it. First you should understand who should be connected to who, to whom, and how this connection should be there. Adding, when you want to add, what should you add in life? Now I'm going to take a very simple technique. As I told you, yoga or adding on 5 levels. You can add on body and senses level, like a child is not interested that thing will give him happiness, or what will be the result later on. It is only interested of immediate gratification, right? Child, what does the child do? Immediate gratification. I want it now. No, this is bad for you. No, I want it. He's got a bad throat, he wants an ice cream. And he wants it now. And the parents tell him, no, wait. Your throat should be okay, then you have an ice cream. So you should understand this. So this is the level of the body and senses. So there's the same thing with the mind. Now what happens? By breathing techniques, you actually start controlling your mind, but the mind has the basic quality of the mind. According to yoga is that it accepts and rejects. Thinking, feeling and willing. These 3 things are done by the mind. Thinking, feeling and willing. And determination is actually the quality of intelligence. Determination is the quality of, it is called that intelligence, by intelligence you can control your mind, because intelligence is more subtle than the mind. But more subtle than the intelligence is also the ego, that who am I? Today all our problems arise due to that. But now how to apply it? I'm coming to some happiness and success, suffering, also on 5 levels. This is not the basic today's lecture is not based on this, but try to understand they are on different levels. Physical level, the mental level, the intellectual level. You got different levels of happiness and suffering, and the more subtler it becomes, the more happiness or suffering you get. Physical, as I told you, give you an example, physical suffering is bad, but mental suffering is worse. So now we come down to yoga is a science. Now why to add? Whom to add? What to add? Now I'll bring for you 2 points. Religion is connected with body and connected with faith. Spirituality has got nothing to do with body and faith. It is above, like the sun. For example, I'm giving you a sun. Sun is not Japanese sun because it rises first in Japan. It doesn't become a Japanese sun. Does it become a Japanese sun? No, it doesn't. So in the same way, spirituality is on that level. It is basically not on the level of religion. Religion means something like this. If you're, for example, we give this example, two children are born. One is a Jewish parent, one is a Christian parent, and the nurse changes the child. What will happen? One will be brought up in the Christian faith and one will be brought up in the Jewish faith. But does that change anything? Does life change? No, sorry. No, it doesn't change. It's the same. Life anywhere, all over the earth. Yes, you got some, that's why the same quotes are there in the yoga books. Same thing as hate the sin, not the sinner. The person is never bad because he is coming from God, so he can't be bad. But the basic fact is because of bad association, he starts doing wrong acts. Is it right or wrong? What changes you? Your association. You go into a good university, you associate with good professors, good library, what happens to you? You got a better intelligence level. In the same way, association actually changes you. So spirituality does not matter what religion you belong to. Now we come down to the practical application of this yogic knowledge. Now steps to success. First, step to success is not direct. You'll have to be satisfied first. Satisfaction will give you peace and peace will give you happiness. Right? Understood this? Because till you're not satisfied, what happens when your desire is fulfilled? You are satisfied, and that satisfaction leads to peace. You feel peaceful, right? And then that peace generates happiness. Now what's today's greatest malady? Is tension. Let's talk about it. Because what happens with tension? Lowers your productivity, is very, very destructive, disrupts all areas of your life. Does it not? It does. Now next, stress is not bad. I'll explain to you in a minute. Any act has 3 aspects. Please understand this. Goal, fruit and effort. Now, what do you mean by that? Every act which you do first has to have a goal. Right or wrong? Now what you should do? The yoga technique tells you what happens, what we do is, fruit means which you enjoy. Enjoy means by which you are happy. Right? So what do you do? What you do is that you mix this fruit and goal. That is a very bad combination. And what is tension? Anything which is goal means where you have to reach or what you have to achieve. Next, fruit means that which gives you a feeling of success or happiness, right? Third, yogic knowledge tells us is effort oriented, not result oriented. First thing, you say that means there is nothing to do with result. No, please wait. But it is effort oriented, it is not result oriented. I'll explain to you how. How's this? First thing, no control you have, what gives you fear, and fear is the other name of tension. No control gives you what? Fear, and fear is tension. Anything in the future creates fear, and fear causes tension. That's why no control or cannot control what? The future. What can you not control? Present or future? Future. Simple. And what is tension? That means. So anything to do with future will create fear. Tension is nothing. Tension is thinking of the abstract or connected with the future. Why do you have tension? Oh my God, that goal is there. What will happen? How will I complete it? A student, I have to get these number of grades. If I don't get it, what will happen? What will happen to him? Falls into trap of tension. Now how to go do away with it? Should we stop thinking of the goal? No. Now what should we do? The goal is in the future. Make a goal. Now do what with the goal? You can't do anything. What can you do is, what is in your hand? Goal or the effort? Effort. The effort is in your hand, the goal is not in your hand. Once you decide on the goal, now do what? Change your paradigm. All of us want to be successful, that is to be happy. Now how to get this happiness? Link your effort with your fruit. Now when you put in your effort, put in your full effort and be happy. Be satisfied that this is what was in my hand, this is my fruit. Every moment I will be happy. Now, if you sometimes what will happen full lifetime also, many scientists happen, they worked on 5 projects, they could complete 2, could not complete 3. But how could they complete 2? Actually, anyone who is successful is knowingly or unknowingly following this formula. He is not looking at the goal, he is basically looking at his present effort. Because when he is looking at his present effort, that is in his control. That will never give him tension. Tension is everything, every time you think of the abstract that is in the future. So what you should do is this. Now what I have to do today, this is the thing which I have to do. I'll do it with my full effort. That's all what I can do. You can't get the goal. The goal is not in your hand, it is in the future. You will reach there. So now every moment, when you're putting in an effort, consider it as your fruit. That means you'll be happy. Enjoy every moment. Don't wait for the goal to, when I'll get that goal, then I'll be happy. Then what will happen with you? You'll not be happy. You'll be setting milestones for happiness. That means milestones for success. Don't set up milestones for success. Make that success come every moment in your life. That is called effort oriented. Where you are working, goal is there. Because without a goal, you'll never proceed. But effort, consider that effort to be your fruit. Because that is in your hand. The biggest mistake we keep committing, and stress is effort related. Remember one thing, stress should be there in life, but not tension. Stress is effort related, that I have to do this now. You have a little stress. No, that's good. But don't start thinking of the future. The moment you start thinking of the future, you are finished. What will happen? Tension will come. Productivity will go. Yoginath says effort to be the fruit. That means enjoy your, don't wait to enjoy the goal. Enjoy what? Enjoy your present effort. Understanding this particular point? Goal you have to reach, but goal will not give me happiness. Don't think that goal will give you happiness. So with this, of us consider goal to be the, what we are doing is consider goal to be the fruit that I'll enjoy only when I reach the goal. So don't set up these milestones. Make it every moment. Change this paradigm. Effort is equals to fruit, is equals to happiness, is equals to success. You will be successful every moment. What will happen? Your productivity will go up. Automatically your productivity will go up. Because you are giving time for what you have in your hand. Effort is in which present is in our control, will not result in fear or tension. Effort will result in stress, not bad, in our control. Concentrate on your effort, work, try level best to satisfy. Be satisfied with your effort and work. Don't be satisfied if I attain the goal, then only I'll be satisfied. No, please change this paradigm. Start working on the paradigm. Goal there, I'm happy. This question was asked to me by someone. He says, I'm working on patents. If I don't get to that particular place, I get tension. Yes, that's the biggest mistake. You set your goal, finished. Now you enjoy your work. Now you enjoy your work. Every moment of your work, you should be satisfied. Then what will happen? Well, I'll be happy. When you're happy, your productivity will automatically go up. And that what will happen? 3 steps to success. Satisfaction first aspect. The first step is satisfaction. And the moment you get satisfaction, what will happen? Your productivity goes down when you are not successful, but when you, from today, you will be successful every moment. You are free of tension, you are happy in the present, you become more productive, the company becomes more productive. Because remember one thing, when you become productive, the company becomes productive, and then the cycle goes on. The company becomes productive, you become productive. This cycle will go on. In this world today, we are so connected that no individual person can think that he can accomplish anything. So what will happen when you are satisfied and happy, you become much better team player. Because if you are not satisfied, you are not happy, you are in tension, are you a good team player or a bad team player? Bad team player. That means when the team loses, you lose. Everyone loses. So you are successful, your team is successful, your company is successful. But change the paradigm of not making that only I'll be happy when I attain the goal. No. I'll be happy every moment of my life by putting in my full effort. By putting out my full effort. Keep this in mind. This is the first step to what else do you all want? This is the only tip of the iceberg of the spiritual, of this yogic knowledge. So first thing is from today. Don't think of what you're going to attain 5 years hence. No. Just make a goal. Leave it there now. Now start proceeding. Be in the present. Because if I want to walk out the door, if I start saying the door only, what will happen? I'll trip and fall. How many times? You do not know how many times. So what should I do? I want to get out of the door. Now I start taking my steps and looking at my steps, and every step I should be happy. That's how actually the whole thing goes. Every step you are satisfied. So don't, please, that's the biggest mistake. And don't put your kids also, you put them into this. Hey, I get high grades. The poor kid is studying. Forget high grades. You only study properly. That you should do. So, bring it back to you. That's very important. And the most revered book on yoga is actually Srimad Bhagavad-Gita. This book has been accepted by everyone as one of the best books of yoga. It's not of any religion, because there is no religion mentioned in this book. It's just a philosophy of life. Very simple. If anyone wants to have it, he can pick up Tarun. Tarun works here and only in Intel. If you can pick it up from him. And the only way for this age, remember one thing, the three major religions which we call as Hindu, Muslim and Christians, all of them are in some way or the other doing sonic meditation. Everyone is chanting. The Christians chant on the rosary, the Muslims chant on the tasbih, and the Hindus chant on the mala. But all of the three are doing sonic. But today what has happened, that all religions have had this problem. People have stopped doing it. Previously they used to do it. My wife, who was a Christian, she says that we used to have that bell ringing, church bell was there, for that now is the time to chant your rosary. And we were just in the basin area, we went one couple and they said, so she asked, why have they stopped it? Then she said, come on. People start saying that this basically spoils our peace. That's why they stopped ringing the bell. So every faith, actually there is no difference in that. So the sonic meditation actually is the yoga for this age. It is stated by every one of the religions. So we chant a particular mantra. If you don't have anything with you, we request that whatever, if you are a Christian, chant on the rosary, basically take the names of the Lord. It is stated very clearly. This is the age, this is there. If you are following any other faith, you can do it. If you are not, if you want to add any mantra, this Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. This has been stated in the Vedas. You can take it from there. And this is the name of the Lord. The Lord has got many names. He doesn't have one name. He's got so many names, so there's anything that you have to chant this name only. There's so many names. So you can chant them. And this is the point. Any questions if you have? If you have not understood any point, we can take up one question. At this moment, we are almost 5 minutes late. Any questions you have? Yes, please. Yes, verbalized. Daily practice. No, you can do it alone in a group also. Anyway, because sometimes what happens, you don't get a group. So you can do it on your own. Then you don't need a group. If the group is there, it is better. It is stated. For this age, the group is better, but it should be verbal. Sound vibration is very strong. It is stated the mind is basically between the mouth and the ear. You connect the mouth and the ear, the mind stays in. You open this door, the mind runs out. This is the most easiest way to do it. Because meditation actually is not easy for this age. It requires a lot of things before do's and do nots before you go into the into the meditation practices, which people do not tell you. So there is actually, if you don't do those do's and do nots, you don't get the desired result. You may get something, but that something is not actually anything. But with sonic meditation, you can basically, in a group or individually, you can do it. Yes, please.
Is it easier to focus on a chant then than a breathing?
Yes, it is much more easier. Much more easier. Because what is actually sound? What the sound which is coming out is actually part of the breath. So when you are listening to the sound, you are actually listening to the breath also. The breath is included in the sound vibration. Whereas in the breath, the sound vibration is not included. So you have the plus of two. You are also basically going through the breath process and you are also going through the sound process. So you got both the things together. So that's why we say meditatively chant. How to chant? Meditatively. So meditation automatically comes into it. So the sound vibrations are very, very powerful. So you can understand that basically it is a combination 1 plus 1. There is only 1 there. There is 1 plus 1. So it becomes more easier.
The fourth element, the ego.
Yeah.
Is that wanting to be in control and wanting things to be...
Yes, ego. What our ego is this, that I am the master of everyone. So you have to change that ego. No. By being a servant of everyone, I will be more successful. Because actually, a businessman is also a servant of the customers. Right? A businessman is serving the customer. The moment he serves the customer, he becomes a servant. And a person who serves is a servant. In the same way, what does a person do? He's working somewhere, so he's working. He's serving something, so he's a servant. So everyone, the President of the United States is also serving the citizens, right or wrong? So that means he's also a servant. So understand your position. You're first a servant, then a leader. What happens with us? We become leader. We want to do away with the servant. No. The moment this attitude comes, what will happen? You'll grow. Otherwise, it will be a stunted growth. Otherwise, it will be a stunted growth. Yep. Anyone needs the, my card is here. You can pick it up. We got lectures on the YouTube in English and Hindi, both languages. Yes, please.
So this is most of the time we should spend in the present, right? So you spend some time on the future. Is there a good allocation? Because you can't say I'll think about future and goal. What's a good proportion?
Yes, the good proportion is this: the setting up. After you set up the goal, you have to plan. Now the plans can be of different levels. You can be it can be a 6-monthly plan, a yearly plan, but never bring it in your mind that if I don't complete this, oh, this will be bad. The moment this happens, what will happen? Your stress will be transformed into tension, which we don't want, because little stress is good. It's not that stress is bad. Actually, tension is bad. That's why they say stress management. Manage your stress in such a way it doesn't convert into tension. So plan. But don't get entangled into that. No, if I don't reach there will be many circumstances. Like for example, you fall sick. And then what happens? You are 2 months behind. And when you are 2 months behind, what happens to you? You get into more tension and you get more chances of getting diseased. And that disease will be mental, which is more disturbing than a physical illness. So that is why the goal should be there, but there are many external circumstances. That is actually the law of karma. Destiny, fate and free will. That how they operate. But that's a different topic altogether. So that one has to understand. Once he understands, he becomes very proactive in life. This is one part of it. So you got it?
Yeah.
Welcome. Thank you very much. Thank you.